Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to do sort of a flip through art book with you. One of my New Year's resolutions is to read one art book a month, and I went to the library and picked out 3, and this one was my favorite. And this one's called Sketchbook Explorations for Mixed Media and Textile Artists, and this is by Shelley Rhodes, and it is actually covered in like a cotton fuzzy fabric to go with the textile, and that is just an awesome finishing touch. But this book was published in 2018, so it's fairly new, and it talks about different types of sketchbooks, where to start, different mixed medias, editing, layout, presentation. It covers the basics, but I just sort of wanted to flip through some of the pages with you because I just thought they were awesome and beautiful and inspiring. And personally, I don't do a lot of mixed media, and I definitely don't do hardly any textile work at all. And so I just love looking at other people's work. I think it's just amazing. I love sewn in elements inside sketchbooks where there's like loose threads and some of those different things. And I just think this is so cool. Looking at this book, because I've already flipped through it once, a lot of the sketchbooks used are spiral bound. And I'm going to assume that that is because of how thick each page gets when you add a lot of different elements and collages on top. And the spiral kind of makes the adjustment for the thickness. That would be my assumption as to why most of these are in spiral. And plus they lay perfectly flat. So these are really neat. And I'm going to link in the description box all kinds of fun free things and tutorials. Like you can take a paper clip and make a miniature little tiny hanger, and I'll link that tutorial if I can find it. This sort of reminds me of like going out in nature and going for walks. I know as of recording this, it's January of 2022, so a lot of us aren't traveling. So doing sort of travel sketchbooks right now we need to change the scope of that. And maybe it's a different walk every single day, or it's, look at these, aren't these beautiful? Sort of travels through my window where you watch the trees changing color and the scenery changing. These are so bright and vibrant. I love that. These are really, really cool. There's different ways to do it. Yeah, this is travel journal. So there would be different ways you could do sort of a travel. It could be traveling through the neighborhood while walking the dog or something. And this is a good use of color. Orange and blue are complementary. I like the layout of these. I like how everything's sort of proportional and they direct your eye, and they're very well thought out, presented pages for sketchbooks. Looks very, very nice. This one looks like cards from a Rolodex. That's a really funny way that's fun. Make a sketchbook, that style. This one is a ring, like a single metal ring, and they cut little papers and did miniature sort of cards. You could do index cards and punch them, and do a ring or a twist tie from a bread bag or something found. Since I'm doing a no-buy art supply, found objects they're gold. And here is sort of one sheet sketchbook. I will link the video I did on how to make one of these. It's a lot of fun. I'll just link fun stuff. And this looks like stitched in vellum and all kinds of fun elements. This book's neat. It's very inspiring. I love all the weird and interesting folds within a sketchbook that you can do. This is an awesome idea. So if you're not feeling it for drawing that day, you could cut down a page within your sketchbook and then do sort of with an X-Acto knife a negative space cut illustration. They did some sort of tree, maybe a birch tree, within a window in a cut down sheet, and that looks really, really neat. That's a nice element for a sketchbook. There's so many different ways and ideas to fill a sketchbook, to do. I mean, it doesn't all have to be illustrated. It could be glued and cut and pasted, and collaged and sewn. It's a lot of fun. There's tons and tons of little found items. Pine needles and seashells. Working with a collection. This is really beautiful. Feathers. You use moss, lichen, all kinds of fun things you find on trees. Beautiful. Three-dimensional sketches. Joseph Cornell was an artist that sort of did three-dimensional shadow box type pieces. I'll link something about him too if you're interested in doing more shadow box work with sketchbook style with collage. Layering sketches. So they have the foreground, the middle ground, and the background. That looks really neat. I like these. These are fun. Here they have stamps. So it could just be found items. It could be junk mail that you recycle and paint and tape and do washes on and practice glazing, or some of your short-term illustration goals. This is really beautiful. I love craft paper. That's really neat. Here are some supplies, different styles of pens and pencils. So they have in here, I want to show you. This is a really cool idea for making found and free different types of brushes for texture and things. So if you're doing a no-buy art supply, you can go and find a stick, a branch, something. You can use a paintbrush, the opposite end, and you can attach a piece of rope or yarn that's been frayed. This looks like a metal sort of SOS cleaning scrubbing pad. This looks like some sort of pine cone tree situation. Here's some branches, some leaves, pine needles, thread, twine. Here is feathers, sticks, frayed bamboo. Here it looks like wire. This could be balled up fabric. These look like coils. And this looks like something else. So anything you find that you could dip in paint and attach to a stick could be a paintbrush, and you can create a myriad of different styles and textures for painting and creating. So if you're doing a no-buy and you're not feeling particularly, I don't know, motivated or enthused, and you want to try and make some art supplies, this is a great example of found objects for painting. Another great one is called a folded pen. Now I actually have a template on my webpage, and I'll link that too, where I took a soda bottle, I took a LaCroix, which is a carbonated water in the United States, and I cut it and taped it onto a Le Pen and made my own folded pen. And they make fun textures for dipping in ink like this. So here is a fun pen you can use for trying your hand at calligraphy and different drawing thicknesses. That's free. And I love that so much. That's awesome. These are just really, really beautiful. The last page I bookmarked, let's see, is just some of the supplies that they show. So knolling is kind of the photograph of showing all your different supplies laid out, and they kind of did a great job with that. With this looks like a Winsor Newton Cotman set, and different sort of pastel sticks and crayons, and their folded pen and their pencils and their inks and their threads. And it looks, I mean, you can attach safety pins and brads and staples within your sketchbooks as sort of three-dimensional elements. And these are a lot of like found items. So seashells, beach glass, pieces and bits of wood, thread, rope, nylon, maybe fishing line in here, feathers, receipts, junk mail. This looks like wood that a beetle has gone after. All these things can be included into sketchbooks and provide inspiration. I mean, you could draw and paint with a feather or a stick or some things like that. This is just a lot of fun. This looks like thread and embroidery floss. And that's just a really cool idea that you can use for making a different styles of art and being inspired by things. I mean, you could clean out your pockets, find all the little doodads that you collect during the day that you stick in your pockets, and that could be sort of a found pocket sketchbook. of items. And you can make, these tags can be made too from thick cardstock. And you can use kite string, and if you don't have kite string, dental floss works. There's so many different ideas. Anyways, I just wanted to share this really cool book with you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye.